All right, guys, welcome back. And today's going to be a little bit of an outdoor video. A couple of you had mentioned wanting to see a little tour of the mill since they got the Clack Vision, and it makes it a little easier because I can catch those little 60-second clips and put them together, and hopefully give you a little bit of a peek into what it's like if you're not familiar with this type of stuff. So let's see if it's cool or if it just turns into a goofy video. But anyway, guys, let's get started. All right, guys, so here we are up at the mill shop. It's a little cool today, so I just wanted to come up here. A couple of you had asked about a video, a little walk around, but here's the Sawmill, LX25 by Wood-Mizer. Notice the orange, maybe that's my fascination. But this is basically as small a mill as you can get from Wood-Mizer. I think my whole setup, I wound up spending about $5,000 getting it up and going. And it's up here on the hill behind the shack. This is the little building that I built using the mill, and all but the power poles. Scavenge those from around the area from some leftovers from the power company. Lots of extra blades, but I do have a sharpener in the event that they get dull on me, as well as I got some new blades over here that I use for just in case if I break one of these guys I can replace it. But right now I'm trying to use all those up before I do. This is where a lot of the wood is. As you can see, I've got a bunch of different offcuts and stuff. These are pieces of wood that I cut that was either unique or something special about it that I wanted to keep for a project one day. This is some of the wood that I cut the other day from that oak over there. They've been setting up here just kind of air drying. I don't have them properly stacked, so don't beat me up about that. But with this oak, it's gonna twist usually if it's gonna twist, so I don't worry about it too much. But you got some cedar here, a little more oak down there. It's just random pieces of wood. I use this stuff for projects from time to time. I did grab a piece of it the other day to help fix the chicken pen, but as you can see, this is some of the first cuts. Blade was a little dull, got a little wiggle in it there, but that's where the CNC comes into play. Is some of these things I can flatten with a CNC. And as you can see, oak is really bad to check. You get these big cracks in it, especially if you don't paint the ends, which I don't, because typically I'm not that concerned about it, and it just takes up more time. The cracking usually will stop, a foot or so in if it's a big piece like this, but a lot of times, hey, I like the cracks. So, gas-powered engine on the Sawmill, guys. Everything's hand operated, and I got birds that live up here that like to roost up there. Uses water for lubrication for the blade, thus rusty blades are a thing. But I haven't cranked it in a while, so we'll see if it cranks. And maybe try to knock a couple boards off right quick. Alright, so it cranks. So I got her a little warmed up, so hopefully it won't be as cold natured. The way this one works, guys, you just got to push it. It's basically a bandsaw on wheels. And when you're cutting the wood, you have to adjust it up and down. And it's a little stiff. Like I said, it needs some TLC. I hadn't been up here much lately. So, like with this one here, if I wanted a 3/4 inch piece of material, I can just move the mill up and use my little handy tri-square here. That's the easiest way I found to do it. And kind of set that down to a 3/4 piece of material, like right there, right in there. It doesn't have to be perfect. All that's going to be fixed up in the planer, but that's how you start, and then we'll get us a cut going. right, so like I said, this board's been laying here, this cant rather, has been laying here drying for a while, so it's got a little tension in it, and there's a lot of stuff that happens with wood as it dries. The outside of this material is drier than the inside, so when you cut it loose, it's going to kind of curl up like that a little bit, but that's part of the drying process. But if you flip it over here, you can see the inside of it, and you can tell by the color, the moisture content is a lot higher on the inside. So once this completely dries, it should be relatively flat, but like I said, it is oak, and oak does like to curl really bad. So there's a 14 by 3/4 board right there, and you can see where it's got a little concave to it, just a little bit, but most of that'll come out as it dries, and what does it comes out when you plane it. So that's where you get some really cool lumber. Now, like I said, I have a kiln where I can dry this material if I need to, but a lot of times, especially if I don't have a project coming up, I end up just sticking a lot of it up here. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's basically just gonna sit up here, and I let it air dry, and if I need it, I got it, but I can always take it down to the kiln if I need to accelerate the drying process. But it'll dry somewhat sitting here. It needs to be stickered, and you can feel the moisture that's still in that cant. I need to get up here and finish it out completely, but it's a little cool today. Today's just not a good day for milling. It's cool and windy, as you can see. But for those of you that were asking about the mill, there it is.
All right, guys. So what do you think? Does the glasses, being able to see it from kind of my perspective, is that better? Is it worse? Is it just goofy? I mean, what's your thoughts on it? But I plan to do a little more in-depth, more in-length video, maybe with multiple camera angles and everything later at the mill. I thought maybe I'd be able to this weekend, but it turns out that we had another little cold front coming in, and it's just colder than I wanted to be up there. I like being up at the mill milling lumber when it's in the high 60s to low 70s. That's kind of the sweet spot for running the mill. It's not too hot to where you're sweating pounds, but it's not too cold to where your fingers are freezing and all that good stuff. So hopefully as spring gets nearer, we'll be able to do more with the sawmill. But as always, guys, if y'all want to see something that goes on around here, let me know. Sometimes I think that everybody's supposed to keep with the laser and CNC stuff, but I know there's a lot of you guys that are interested in this stuff. So let me know down below if you like the content, and if you're new to the channel, then hit the subscribe button. Check it out. I got playlists for honeybees, sawmill, and you name it. I got several playlists. But until next time, guys, be safe and have a good day.